I'm Matt Dinger with the Oklahoman, and late last month I was invited to the Midwest City Police Department to participate in their new $150,000 Vir Tra simulator. This simulator involves real police weapons, which simulate real-life environments that police officers may face in a high-definition video 180-degree environment. Police officers are sent through one of 150 different scenarios where they take different paths, and based on their decisions, the simulator changes with how they behave.
Drop your weapon! Drop your weapon!
To me, this is probably, as an instructor in teaching active shooter classes and just things like that, defensive tactics and firearm stuff, is probably the best piece of equipment we could ever invest it in.
Sir, do not go in that building! Yeah, it's too late. Sir, I need you to calm down. Relax. Everything's okay. Relax.
Face value, a guy with a machete deserves a counter with a handgun, right? Or the police officer should have a weapon, or a lethal weapon. But if we get some distance and we find ways to minimize us having to use our firearm, those are decision-making processes. And this is where we can get that training from here, where you can't really recreate that somewhere else.
In that last one, I used the taser because I had the time to take a look. But like you said, it was an edged weapon, and I'm not confronting any real situation. So I
think your ability to use it when you did was important. If you would have waited a long time and he got more aggressive with that, then you're putting yourself at risk. I think you made a perfect choice at the right time. And timing's everything, so I thought that was a good choice.
You can't stay there. Stay there.
I'm going to call 911.
There's situations on here that most of our officers haven't ever experienced out in the field. And whenever they get put in a situation where their mind they have to think through the situation, and it's a lot to process. So if we can help them with the process, the thought process in here, and then they can take it out to their calls or service. They can think about things like their safety and their cover.
Hey! Stop it! Put the hammer down! Drop the hammer! Drop the hammer!
I think it's stress inoculated training. In other words, it gets your heart rate up, tunnel vision sets in, and it affects your decision making. So as much as this is a shooting simulator, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's more of a decision making simulator, and it helps us combat the emotions that our body experiences that you do not see on TV.
I need you to shut up and go inside right now. I don't even know what he had.
I think all of us has probably shot scenarios on here and may have missed our first couple or something like that. And without this, we would assume in our own mind, we'd like to think at least that, oh, I would never miss that, or, you know. But under stress, it may kind of humble you a little bit. The ability to critique it and go back over it, and I know you experienced it, I did too, and so did Lieutenant Clawson. When you go back over it, there's things that either happened or were on the screen that you didn't see or hear, and that's normal because you're under stress. Your hearing diminishes, your motor skills diminish. So now that we can go back over it and show where your shots hit or what you actually what was really on the screen versus what you thought was on the screen is very important.
The benefit of having a system like this is that you can induce the stress and induce the situation that an officer may have that, you know, that 1 second to make a decision of whether they survive or somebody else, you know, may die. But in the scenario, we can work on it here, and then we can take what they learned here and have a better chance of surviving the situation.